season-ending injury, WNBA tickets were averaging $89. The moment she went down, price crashed nearly 30%, plummeting to $62 a seat. That's kind of crazy. And there's a lot of reasons for this, but obviously the biggest reason is
the WNBA is experiencing a collapse so total and undeniable that it borders on historic for all the optimism about its arrival on the mainstream sports stage. The league now finds itself backsliding toward irrelevance at lightning speed.
And the Indiana Fever did not want people to know that Caitlin Clark was going to be out for the season. I can tell you, from the very day that they decided to let that go public, everything has dropped off a cliff. Views on this channel, the television ratings, the interest, Thanos snapped out of existence. People were trying to hang on to the possibility this whole time. Look, so many people stayed engaged with the team because they thought the cavalry was coming.
There are many factors at play, but the main truth is clear. The league built its whole business around Caitlin Clark. Now that she's sidelined, the league is facing a serious crisis. Commissioner Kathy Angelbert once promoted growth with expansion, TV deals, and record attendance. But now, she's leading what looks more like a warning story about overdependence, poor management, and shaky foundations.
The WNBA proudly flaunted ratings for the All-Star Game, which drew 2.2 million viewers. Of course, they conveniently failed to mention that ratings were down 36% from the record ratings that Caitlin Clark pulled the year before. Early August, ESPN pointed out that the Seattle Spankers and the Indiana Felines, without Caitlin Clark, drew 1.6 million on ABC. ESPN claimed that WNBA ratings were up 20% over last year, mostly without Caitlin Clark playing. But over the last 3 or 4 weeks, both the WNBA and the media have been strangely silent. I wonder...
Clark's sense is not just bad news. It is the Lynch-Pinelli Raveling of sustainable growth. When the Indiana Fever confirmed that their superstar guard would miss the remainder of the 2025 season, the they end the market reaction was instantaneous.
WNBA are currently treading dangerous waters. It's sharks out there, y'all. It is sharks out there in the deep ends of that water. Reality is hitting, and the playoffs have the potential to expose even more. Ratings could potentially crash in this year's WNBA playoffs without Caitlin Clark. Networks have their eyes peeled to what is going on, and ticket prices plummeted 30% while Caitlin Clark was out with her.
Overnight, ticket demand dried up. Playoff prices cratered, and BROA projections became worthless. Playoff seats that were selling for $200 at the height of Clark Mania are now lingering in resale markets for less than $25, often with arenas still short of sellouts.
On one team, but a very big chunk of the total attendance in WNBA is from the Indiana Fever. They have the second highest home attendance, and teams are literally moving arenas. So yeah, a lot of teams, whether it be the Lynx opening the Upper Bowl, whether it be the Wings, the Dream, the Sky, all of these teams moving games. All of these teams are moving games for the Indiana Fever, regardless of who it is. They all have to sell those seats. And a lot of people don't want to go, and it's super cheap. Like, it's a lot easier to fill a 10,000 seat arena without Caitlin Clark than to fill 20,000. So you're going to have to find a way to do it anyway, which is what a lot of people are going to be doing, trying to sell tickets.
Fever, whose road tickets once commanded $137 per seat, saw that figure collapse to just $80 as soon as Clark went on the injured list. And the drop only steepened after a final ascending announcement. It's not just a dip in demand. It is wholesale market abandonment. The most brutal evidence comes in television ratings. This is where leagues measure not just popularity, but survival.
WNBA playoffs begin on Sunday. Have you noticed that no one is talking about it? This time last year, the WNBA was dominating talk shows on ESPN and FS1. Content creators on YouTube were flooding the platform with WNBA videos. This year, it's complete silence. Obviously, ratings for the playoffs are going to be a flaming ass fire, but if I'm the WNBA, I am concerned.
Earlier this year, Clark's games consistently drew audiences approaching 1.8 million, rivaling regular season NBA broadcasts and commanding premium advertiser interest. Without her, those numbers are cratering to the tune of 200,000 viewers or fewer per game. That represents a collapse of nearly 90%.
Talked about Jason Whitlock disowning the WNBA. True to his word, hasn't spoken a lick about the WNBA since. Colin Cowherd trashing the WNBA. It's Caitlin Clark and only Caitlin Clark. Last year, he used to lead shows talking Caitlin Clark, talking WNBA. This year, with her injury, didn't even bother wasting more than 10 minutes talking about the WNBA this year. No Shanae, no Elle Duncan, no Monica McNutt, none of those.
Even ESPN, which all in on promoting WNBA around Clark, is facing the uncomfortable truth that their coverage was dependent not on the league as a whole, but on her once-a-generation appeal. Games that were once tentpole events have become ratings liabilities. And when networks see liabilities instead of assets, the knives come out quickly. Trilovision executives have a simple reality. Programming Tim follows. WS. Revenuings.
Nationally televised games have mysteriously disappeared. I knew the WNBA lived in a world of make-believe, but I never realized they were magicians. It seems when ratings fail to meet expectations, the WNBA makes ratings disappear faster than pants at the Butt Bongo Festival. Sports Media Watch, which is the go-to source for sports ratings, Sports Media Watch, they have not updated WNBA ratings since August.
Right now, WNBA games are doing so poorly that it's getting hard to justify giving them prime TV slots. Those spots could instead go to safer options like college football debates, NBA preseason, or even NFL offseason talk. Broadcasters who thought the WNBA would be a big, long-term success are quickly changing their minds. Sports talk shows that once spent days debating Caitlin Clark's games are now back to their usual focus, the NFL, NBA, and college football. Even digital media, which used to get big traffic from Clark-related stories, has seen its numbers crash without her.
No, them Caitlin Clark tickets was hard to get your hands on. It don't matter if she was playing in LA, Indiana, Atlanta, Seattle. It did not matter. Afghanistan. It didn't matter. It was hard to get your hands on a Caitlin Clark ticket. Y'all see how many people showed up in Iowa? They could have filled up a football stadium. Super Bowl. Yeah, that is the demand for.
On social media, the silence is striking. The nightly clips of Clark's deep threes, flashy passes, and heated rivalries are gone. And so is the viral buzz that finally made the WNBA a regular part of the sports conversation. Now, things are sliding back to the old reality where women's basketball barely gets noticed outside of small circles. Merchandise sales are crashing too. Clark jerseys, once impossible to keep in stock, now sit unsold online. During her rookie year, WNBA gear sales jumped over 500%, but that momentum has stalled. Retailers are quietly pulling back from their big WNBA commitments. Corporate sponsors are also stepping away. Most of them backed women's basketball because Clark was the face of it, the guarantee that their ads would actually be seen. Without her on the court, the numbers don't add up. Executives now realize they weren't investing in the WNBA itself. They were investing in Clark. And right now, she's sidelined.
Nike commercial, other than a Gatorade commercial. How many commercials have you seen of companies putting WNBA players as the face of their commercial? I can't think of one. The only commercial that comes to mind is the Paige Becker's Coach commercial, and they don't even put that on television. That seems to be strictly a League Pass commercial that they show us while we're watching WNBA on League Pass. Other than that, has there been any State Farm commercials not featuring Caitlin Clark that you've seen?
What frustrates critics most is that this crisis didn't have to happen. Clark's injuries weren't just bad luck. They came from playing in an environment that put her long-term health at risk. She was constantly targeted, hit with excessive physical play, and refs often did nothing. Small injuries piled up, quad strains, groin pulls, overuse until her body finally broke down.